All right, welcome to the Brad and Kyle channel. In this video, I want to discuss who, out of all the best bowlers in the world, who on the 2025 PBA Tour season were the best. Okay, and now everybody who goes out there is amongst the best. However, there's always a few that stand out. Now, there is a point standings that I do not know. I am not totally familiar with who the top 5 were. I'm only going off what I see or what I saw, and they're probably going to overlap. And I want to explain why they do so well. So who are the ones who did so well and why? What about them makes them so good? So the first person we're going to talk about, none other than EJ Tackett. This guy has kind of always been this good. He was just, from a young age, he was just probably a little young and overshadowed by Jason Belmonte. I mean, Jason Belmonte just had a hard time losing. I mean, the guy was unbelievable for a long stretch. He's probably 10-something years older than EJ, so EJ was a young pup coming up the ranks, but he did some stuff young, man, that really made him kind of like this, like the best in the world. And the thing that makes him so good is he's got every way of throwing the bowling ball possible. And I've seen EJ do some crazy things. There was a while back at the National Bowling Stadium for the World Series of Bowling. The 4 out of the 5 people that made the show were left-handed, and he beat everybody in the field by 200 or 300. I mean, he beat like the 5th place guy on the show by a lot, which means he beat the next right-handed guy by probably 600 pins. And he was young, and he's done these things over and over again, but there's a time where I saw him at the World Series, and while with Tossa, we're bowling on the last pattern, the Shark, it's the longest, and this dude takes a urethane ball, or whatever microcell ball that they have, he goes all the way out to the right, long pattern, 47 feet, most people are playing in, and it's really tight, you can't throw it out to the right. This dude takes a urethane ball, I'm gonna grab a urethane ball, goes all the way out to the right, gives it some loft, and plays this really tight line on a 47-foot pattern with not a reactive ball. Only guy in the entire field that would even think to do this. And he had the front 8 with it. So he just goes, you know what, I kind of like this look. And of course, I'm gonna make it look pretty good. But this is a 40-foot pattern, 41-foot pattern. He did it on a 47-foot pattern, all the way out to the right, some dumb blue ball where he just hit it up the lane with a bunch of loft, and he had the front 8 with it, and he's done these things over and over and over again. There's no angle he can't play, and most people, when they're putting together their game plan for like these conditions and the center and the oil that they use and all this stuff, what balls they're gonna use, their arsenal. You know, you normally go like strong, and then you have a ball that's weaker and middle of the road and all this stuff. You got a game plan. He's just like, no, what's the newest ball out? We got a brand new ball, Spangler, let me have it. Let's drill it. And he doesn't even care what the ball is. He'll just throw it and then crush everybody. The only game plan is just to crush everybody. It doesn't matter what equipment he throws. So EJ, man, he could literally do anything with a bowling ball. It's unbelievable. And that's pretty good. First 7. Okay, so next bowler I'm gonna talk about, EJ, congrats, give you your flowers, you're an amazing bowler. Next person on the list might have been second in points behind him. His name's Andrew Anderson.
Came to just cover the action, and you were the least interesting story because you were just leading by 200 pins. So, but it wouldn't have full coverage of the U.S. Open if we didn't give props to the man that just absolutely destroyed the field.
Yeah, how you do that?
Guys, I really don't know how or what just happened, but we're happy it did, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see if we can't pull one off tomorrow.
Well, that's sick. One team for the show. And if you guys haven't yet, Andrew Anderson Bowling.
Yes.
Andrew Anderson Bowling, YouTube. Yes. Everyone go over here. This video is going to get however many thousands of views. That means he should be getting that many subscribers. So
I'd appreciate it, guys.
Our goal, we're going to plug him every week. We said Andrew's got to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the tour season.
That would be insane.
Minimum. So go help him out, and you know, it's a good start by making the 1 seed at the U.S. Open show. So.
Yeah, honestly, I had some weird expectations going to this year. I just want to make some cuts, and then you know, you find yourself up 200 on the field at the U.S. Open, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
it's happening. So yeah.
Now you got one game left.
How did you get that locked in, dude? Your mind was like, when you bowl good, you're in a zone. Like I don't know what it is. You're kind of like F everybody. Like you're just into your mojo. Like, how did you get into that this week? Because you bowled amazing. Like, we had C squad, and you went 150 over on that long pattern when they played impossible. Like, that was so impressive going 150 over the way that played.
Yeah, we played them completely wrong. Yeah, I bowl with a chip on my shoulder. And you guys have talked about in the past. We've talked about, when I got snubbed in this building for the PBA League for the first time.
Yeah.
And so my memories in this building haven't been great. I came in with some different motivation this year that hopefully I'll get to share later on this year. And then we're gonna try to prove some doubters wrong.
All right, bro.
Some new equipment.
Good bowling and some new equipment. So good bowling.
Thanks for welcoming me to the team.
Yes, sir.
Follow him. Andrew Anderson Bowling. Head over. Future U.S. Open champion.
I sure hope so.
Gotta give this guy some flowers. He was 2018-19 Player of the Year. He was really young out on tour. He won a couple titles. He won the Masters that year. And then he struggled. Like, he ran into some struggle where he was fighting his fit. And then this year, he comes around and, really just puts a hurting on a lot of guys. And the thing that Andrew can do so well is he can manipulate his hand position in pretty much any way, shape, or form. Now, Andrew, being the lower rev guy out there, he's not the one creating the transition. So he has to deal with everyone else's transition. Like when he goes to Belmo's pair, he has to do something completely different than if he wasn't on Belmo's pair or Boog Kroll's pair, or like these guys that make the oil move a ton. He has to deal with that going from pair to pair, and he's not the one creating the transition for his opponents, so his opponents never have to deal with his transition. You're in a tough spot when you're not the one creating the transition. And so he's maneuvering that. EJ in a way does create a lot of transition. Andrew did not. And the thing that was so good about him this year was his hand position got really around the ball. He's had he can get up behind it just fine, but when he this year was able to get his hand around it to allow him to create a lot of shape, it was spectacular. The people who struggled this year, their hands were a little bit more up the back. Andrew had a couple different releases on the side of the ball that allowed him to maneuver each pair, because every game, every pair you go to is completely different. So I'm gonna throw a shot where my hand's way around it, kind of like Andrew's. That's just... It's that wasn't even close to probably as around it as Andrew can get his hand. And that's certainly something, I watched him this year, certainly something I'm going to be putting in my arsenal and working on religiously, because it was very obvious that was the key move of just not getting your ball to go forward down lane. And the second your hand's up behind it a little too much, you're dead. So that's a little bit of a little side roll that I could do, but Andrew, man, congrats. You bowled phenomenal. It's very, very, very cool to watch. He won the Coconut Open, finished second at the US Open, led. Anytime you lead a major with all the match play and games and stuff, crazy. Okay, third person, this is probably an obvious one, Jason Belmonte. Got to give him some credit because, he's not winning like he used to. I mean, he won the Masters 3 years in a row, and the Masters is like not the hardest. It can be the easiest or the hardest to win, depending on how your matches go, but he's always got a target on his back. Everyone's going to shoot a monster at him, and he just finds a way to win. And all the other majors, and he's just been the best winner, of the past decade or longer, 15 years. However, the last few years has not been the case, but you just can't discount the fact that he's still an unbelievable bowler. I cost him a little bit at the World Series this year. He's doing things just like everyone else is. He's trying to figure out equipment, trying to figure out what works, what the oil pattern's doing. They change oil patterns every year. They have different strategies on what they want to do, and it's just this giant puzzle you have to figure out. And he's doing the same thing everyone else is. He's not getting those he's just not getting those runs that allow him to win, and he's putting himself in some positions to win. They're going the other way. EJ's striking out to win, or somebody else is striking out to win, when normally that was just Belmo. But he's still bowling really good. And even though it didn't seem like a very good year, I bet you he was top 5 points, probably. He still led the world championship, which is probably the hardest one to lead. So I'm gonna throw the shot two-handed. And yeah, shout out Elmo. You know, he vlogs daily during the majors while he's out there. He's a great ambassador for the sport. You gotta give him credit. You gotta give him credit. So, two-handed shot. Maybe we can strike. Maybe. Ah, man, how do we get 6? Okay, so Jason Momani, great job this year. I know you didn't win or whatever, but you got enough. We'll have other people win the majors, like Gary Haynes. Okay, so 4th bowler, another two-hander. His name is Floyd Jr.
This man right here shot 280 his last game. We thought you were a lock, and it actually came down to it. Were you sweating that?
Was I? It came down to the last,
He was the last check.
Yeah, last check. It came down to the last frame, the 9th frame of the last game.
So what'd you need?
Someone needed a double in the 9th and 10th, or a double in the 10th that they marked, and they split in the 9th.
Woo, buddy.
Sigh of relief.
Yeah, you and Keplinger. Keplinger had like 279, you had 280. Hey, man, good job. That was awesome. Yeah, we crossed together. It was awesome. He bowled great. Started out rocky.
Man, I was minus 102 for all game ones combined.
Seriously? Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, the fresh is tough.
Fresh stuff.
Yeah, it was only 283 over for the other 21 games.
I wish I could say that. But yeah, anyway, it's fun, man. We're going to go out there and check out the bowling. Nice job.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Way to punch that 280, dude.
That was fun.
It was almost 300 for the vlog. We could have got you 300 last game. You could have came through for us. We've been wanting it.
I tried.
I know.
What was cashing?
181 over.
He was.
And then how much was it?
1,600.
1,600? All right, not bad.
Can't be upset with that.
I feel good having an extra 1,600 this week.
Yeah, especially when it was almost zero.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Yeah,
well,
we're going home with negative 1,600.
All right. We'll see you.
All right, man. Well,
And Foy has, we've crossed each other quite a bit over the past couple years. And 4 or 5 years ago, Foy was probably bowling the PTQs. Maybe a couple years ago, Foy was bowling the PTQs. And he has improved so much that it's kind of insane. Not a young guy. He's my age, 30. He's older than me. I think he's 38. He's been out there for a while, and he's really starting to come into his own. It's a really cool story in that regard of like, just don't ever give up. Bowling is a lifelong game. You can hit your stride at 40. That's like the beautiful thing of the game. Shout out to him, man. He has figured out a lot. His game has gotten really consistent. He's not doing anything that he's realized doesn't work for him. He's whittled those things out. He knows that kind of ball doesn't work for him. He knows this ball kind of works for him. He knows he likes to do this with the urethane. He knows he likes to, and we go into these same centers, and sometimes the patterns play similarly, and he just knows exactly what he needs to do. And he's figured that out from bowling, from going out there for a long time, from making errors, That's how you learn. That's kind of the best teacher, is just going out there and making errors. That way you just don't do them again, and then you come into your own. So Foy, we crossed together the U.S. Open this year. We've seen a lot of each other. We've bantered back and forth. We got him in the vlog this year a couple times. So this guy's pretty insane. I'm gonna try and redeem my two-handed shot. By the way, Foy, that Brooklyn that EJ threw against in the 9th, like at the World Championship. You're in the semifinal match. You're bowling EJ Tackett, winner bowls Belmo. I don't know if he had the lead going in the 9th, but EJ goes up there on the right lane and goes Brooklyn. Maybe he was in the 10th. Yeah, it might have been in the 10th. Brooklyn to basically shut Foy out. And I just, if there's someone that you wish doesn't get lucky on you, it's the guy that's winning every tournament. So I know he just wanted that one to beat EJ and bowl Belmo for the title. What an amazing experience that would have been. However, you got to wait your turn, I guess, but there's not a lot of turns. All right, two-handed. Come on. Oh, 2 splits. Oh man, 2 splits. Okay, so now the 5th guy can be a wide range of people. I'm gonna say a few people. The one that's probably the up there in points would be Chris Vi. He's just an incredible bowler. He doesn't really bowl very bad very often. Everybody does in their career at some point, but This guy right now has it figured out. Just kind of like Tim Foy, he just knows his stuff. He knows what doesn't work and works, and he does what works. The guy I gotta shout out is Bill O'Neill, man. I bowled next to that guy quite a bit this year, and he's just an incredible bowler. You know, again, he's one of those guys that's not making the transition for other people to deal with. He has to deal with other people's transition, and when there's a lot, you know, you have to make shots and know a ball and make all these moves, and he has figured it out. He has done things his way. He knows what he can and cannot do. He knows the angles, he knows the balls. He just knows how to bowl on pretty much anything. You know, it doesn't matter how much transition you give the guy, he'll figure out a way. And you know, Don Barrett's the same way, another kind of shot maker style. And I know there's definitely some people that I'm forgetting. However, look, you know, if you're top 10 on the PBA Tour at all, at any point in your career, that's a great year. I mean, that's a phenomenal year. So I hate to not give a couple guys their flowers. I mean, Jesper won the TOC. Kyle Troop might be in the top 12 for the playoffs. I don't think Prather necessarily had his greatest year. Guys in the house, Packy, BJ Moore, Boog Kroll, Nick Pate, Mitch Hoope. You know, they all had pretty good years, but the guys who really, really crushed them, let's do a most improved. The most improved bowler I thought this year was Bailey Maverick, and Bailey Maverick has gotten so much better. He's a great guy. He's a great personality, always happy. And I watched him bowl a match against Dallas Leong at the Masters this year, round 1 of match play, and I don't think he missed for 3 straight games. And that pattern was hard, and to watch a guy like that not miss, it just shows you how much work he's put in and just how good of a bowler. And he might have made the first show. So, you know, shout out Bailey Maverick. He has really, really and he's better, and he's a great guy. So we're gonna throw one strike here to sign off. Rockstar, baby. Can it hook? Can it hook? Roll it. Anyway, that's my evaluation of the guys on the PBA Tour this year. I always enjoy being around the best bowlers in the world. That is how you get better. If you would like to get better, outside of watching these videos, just get yourself around better bowlers. It'll change your whole perspective of the game. It'll give you a lifetime worth of work, at least with some direction, and it's a lot of fun. So that's it. Those are the best bowlers from the 20-25 season. Great job, you guys. If you can hit that like and subscribe, we appreciate you. We love you. Until next time, see you later.